Hey, what's up, people? This is Rob Barrington, and I am here for a recap of the first 2 days of the 2025 team trials. That's right, folks, it's that time of year again. And this year, we have a pretty brutal schedule for the bridge players that are gathered in Schaumburg, Illinois, to take care of business. They hope to gain a spot in one of two slots that the United States gets for the World Championships. That's the Bermuda Bowl this time. And that is why the U.S. gets two teams. And that's why this event is especially brutal unless you secure the first spot in each of, my goodness, the four categories available for your pleasure. So let's start with a look at the schedule. Right? It is right here for us to look at, and essentially right now you are right here. When this gets released this evening, you will see that the USA1 quarterfinal has just begun. Each of these segments, essentially each of these events, is played in a 2-day format, so it is head-to-head matches in 2 days. So they play essentially 60 boards one day, they turn around, they play 60 more boards the next day, and they find out who advances to the next stage. And because we have two teams for this World Championship event, the Bermuda Bowl, we have two different events going simultaneously, basically from the very beginning of each of the events. So right now we are in the open round, right? That's anybody can play. We have a lot of top male and female players playing in this event and have survived to the next round to play in where we are now, the quarterfinal stage. And that is for USA 1. USA 2, the second USA team, that event started today as well, because after we started with 16 teams, 8 of those teams lost and dumped into, that's right, the USA 2. It's kind of like a loser's bracket, right? You get two chances, two bites at the apple with your team, and you can take one of these two slots, right? So just in case, or just because you won in this round doesn't mean you can't actually win the USA 2 final, right? So you have two concurrent events going on right now. Here, we're going to take a look at the round of 16 in the USA 1, and then we'll take a look forward and show you when we're going to have content for you. We're going to give you these reviews of each of these days, or excuse me, each of these rounds, essentially. So after the round of 16 is where we are now, essentially. We might get a little peek into some live action in the USA 1 quarterfinals. So at the end of this, or maybe in a little bit of a separate video, we'll take a little peek at that. And then we will have the open quarterfinal ending tomorrow, which is Sunday the 27th. And we will have a couple of commentators bringing you the last part of that, and we will give you that content as soon as we finish it. And we'll be live for the final day of each of the final events. So May 1st, we will be live for all of the segments of this USA 1 final, and that will tell us who the first team is that's going to go to the World Championships in Denmark, I believe it is. And then we have the other USA event kind of going along as we are finishing USA 1. These teams that lose in the quarterfinal dump into this stage 2 here for USA 2, and so on and so forth. The semifinal people jump into the quarterfinal here. The people that are in the finals of USA 1 jump into the semifinals of USA 2, right? These teams can keep going. And here is our next live date, Monday, May 5th, for the USA 2 final. Also, the last day of that, we'll see who the second team in the open bracket is. And then take a look, folks. It starts all over again. Mixed USA 1, and then that turns into mixed USA 2. And then you have a beautiful schedule all the way ending with seniors, which will be at the ripe stage of, my goodness, May 26th. So that is over a month in Schaumburg, Illinois, if you happen to be one of the lucky ones to play in either all of these events, and the seniors and or the women's, I believe, is happening as well. So what a crazy time in Schaumburg, Illinois. Let's take a look at how the first round took off. And it really took off right away in segment one. I want you to take a look at it. I've hidden kind of the rest of the segments for you. I just want you to look at the first segment of the entire event, basically in the open category. It was by far the most exciting segment. Every team, in fact, this is the lowest scoring match right here. 74 imps exchanged in the by far lowest scoring match in a 15 board set. So there are a lot of teams. In fact, every team came out swinging. A lot of teams had their biggest set in this first segment of the open trials. And I want to call out and give a shout out to the McNay team, who came out just guns blazing, 86-11, and really made this match quite exciting. Most of the matches in here, I'm going to reveal the rest of the entire score for you guys to take a look at. You can see that most of the teams, the chalk favorite was winning most of the time and continued. These are aggregate scores, folks. So each of these rounds is just kind of adding on to the way it was. You notice nickel kind of came out, was pretty good, kept going. In fact, they led to a withdrawal with one segment left to go. Rosenthal, little bits of here and there, but still easy win here. Most of the teams wide ahead, but McNay kind of kept it very interesting all the way to the very end, actually. They came out in the last set and had a couple of big scores here, and really we're edging towards maybe making a good run at it at the very end, but came up a little bit short at the end. But what a great showing. And those of you that have seen anything on the USBF channel have seen Ewan McNay, the team captain there, as one of the commentators that is frequently helping out. So great job, guys, and you live to fight in USA2. We can't wait to see some more bridge from you guys. Shuri led to a withdrawal as well, a big lead there. Kaplan-Wildowski was the match of the entire round. Everyone else, kind of the favorites, eventually were ahead enough that they had to play the last segment, but there wasn't too much doubt as to what was going on. But Kaplan-Wildowski, look at this, 55-40. So they scored 95 at the very beginning, but then it was back and forth all along. In fact, Wildowski had the lead most of the time, but then the last three segments were more on the Kaplan side. And as you see, the last segment especially, they outlasted them and ended up winning by a reasonable margin of 22. But honestly, this was the match to watch, and there were definitely some boards to watch, and that's what I want to take a look at now. I want to take a look at swing boards. Let's look at the boards that really swung the action, and I have a few picked out from each segment. If you are live at the event and or you have anybody there, just suggest some of these for future episodes. But I had a few in mind because the first board especially, let's take a little peek at board one at every table. And here's the traveler for it, folks. Look at the imps being exchanged here. 11, 10, 11, 11, 11. And that is a lot of the teams just kind of bit a slam that went down on the first board. And other teams just stayed in 4 or had other kind of ways to go about this. But it was essentially right off the bat we're here to throw some imps around. And let's take a look at a few of the treatments on this board that we saw. Here's what happened in the Fleischer-Parrish match, and that's Adam Parrish, who you've also seen on this channel, giving you some commentary. You saw that Joe Grew with the north hand opened 2 hearts, which some of you might feel like is aggressive, but they're not vulnerable in this situation. It's board 1. This is very reasonable here, and you guess that's the action you see at most of the tables. But here's 2 hearts. Pretty clear-cut double by the East player over here. And then Brad just makes the normal bit of furthering the preempt right here with his 3-card heart suit. This is something you should always do. In fact, folks, the weaker you are with this hand, the more you should be doing this, right? If I take this king away and I make it the 2 of clubs, my goodness, I want to do this even more because I know my partner's weak. And my goodness, the more weak I am, the more I'm preempting, right? So I'm not saying you go hog wild and jump to 5 hearts or something like crazy with this 3-card heart holding in a balanced hand. but I want you to bid to the appropriate level, which is the 9-trick level. That's the number of trumps you have together. Use that as a guideline. You don't have to know, you don't have to be doing calculations on the fly. You have 9 trumps, bid to the 9-trick level regardless of points, especially when you're not vulnerable and you know partner's preempting. Good stuff, good solid bridge here. Not surprising at the USBF team trials. Here we go with Danny Sprung, another commentator. This is like the commentator table right here. We see 3 spades by Danny as a good hand. His partner made a takeout double. Pass, 4 hearts by East, forward going, obviously. Danny bids 5 diamonds. We'll see this at every table that tried to bid a slam. Very important to recognize what's happening with Danny's hand. His partner bid 4 hearts, and he is looking at a situation where he knows that his partner wants to play some slam. So he wants to cooperate, but also he wants to make sure his partner knows he does not have first or second round control in clubs. So this 5 diamond bid does both things for him. It's, a partner, I have first or second round control in diamonds and some interest. And I do not have first or second round control in clubs because I have bypassed that suit. So that's good stuff right there. Unfortunately, they get to a slam that does not make, and it was a very common result. They couldn't get to, or they didn't get to key card on this hand, so they are off a trick in the club suit, and they're also off the queen of spades. So here, unfortunately, they don't have a way to guess this because that's queen 10-9 right there, unfortunately. And it's a slam that they bid at both tables in this match. Take a look at this auction. Somewhat similar, right? 2 hearts, double, 3 hearts. Everybody making the very strong and normal idea. Let's continue preempting, partner. Let's get in the way. And again, 4 spades here. Honestly, a bid that Kevin says, okay, we probably have game here, even though the queen of hearts, I think at the other table, they were kind of getting a little bit spooked by that holding especially. But here Kevin is undaunted, 4 spades, and now Herdman bids 5 hearts past 6 diamonds. There we go again, folks. Denying clubs, showing diamonds, and then we play 6 spades again, chopping action on this and this match. But in another match, let's take a look. Here we go. We have a little bit of a different treatment here. 1 diamond by East. So in this match, this is a McNay match. This was a huge set for McNay, and they started off pretty darn well on this board because Mextroth and Berkowitz bid 6 spades without any interference from the opponents. It went a diamond, pass, a spade by Berkowitz, 4 hearts. Hey, partner, I have a really good hand and I have heart shortness. Some people might say, hey, I'm not preempting with a singleton ace. I don't argue with Jeff Mextroth. So here, just heart shortness, really strong hand because notice your 1 spade bid wasn't anything massive, right? You showed just some sort of normal 4 card response with 6+ points. Let's dance. All right, so now, again, there's that control bid, folks. 5 diamonds, boom, boom. Partner, I don't have a club control, first or second. I do have 1 in diamonds. And then 6 spades, once again, no bueno for that contract. Here is McNay and Luba getting it on the right side. 2 hearts, double, 3 hearts, which is, oh, they had options here. So they alerted that as the weakest raise, and it went 4 spades. Check, check, check. That's it. And they come out on this ahead. And that was the start of a really, really big set. In fact, the biggest set we saw from, I think, any team, scoring 86 in the first set. 86-11 was the start for the McNay team. So it was almost like, let's keep going, let's hold on and win. And they almost got it done. Let's take a look at some other exciting boards. And not surprisingly, we'll stick with the first segment for a couple of these because of so many imps flying. In fact, here comes another one. We didn't have to wait too long in the first segment to see another board with just some carnage going on. Board 4, you're looking at the Travelers for it right now. 12, 5, 12. Surprisingly, the biggest scoring match, or one of them, Wolfs and McNay. Only 1 exchanged on this, very kind of normal stuff. And then 12, 16, 14, 9. Right now, I have us looking at the Shuri match right here. And this is Raj and Gavin. Familiar names for everybody, I'm sure. And if you don't recognize the names, where you been? What's going on? So This is a really big swing for them. They get to play three clubs doubled, East West playing three clubs doubled. And at this point, you can see always when we're looking at the history here what the state of the match is at this point. So it's obviously in the first segment, so it's very close. So we're not really reading too much into the score. But here was a really nice swing at the other table. In fact, I'll show you that result first. They were just playing four spades with the East-West cards, and it looks like they just lost. Did they make this? Yeah, they lost only three spades on this one. So that looks like that was not the best line here. They must have crunched their spade honors together. In fact, let's take a look at that here. There's your diamond play right there. And then it goes club to that queen, and then, oh, okay, they roughed with that. So what happened here? Yeah, something weird happened here, and I think I here it comes. Yeah, ouch. Right, the queen's just smacking in, and here he thinks that Kevin's trying to kind of sneak in a trick with the spade here, and I guess you can't really blame him. Look at Kevin's spade suit, right? Jack 10 9 sixth. He's not really pegging partner for that ace of spades, and here I guess that's what's happening on this hand, right? They just popped it together, and that was a big win for East West. They thought at their table, but they end up losing imps on this because on this hand, it just goes 800. Forget what I'm saying, folks. Out of body experience as I'm like looking at my screen here. This is a massive, beautiful two-way swing. Obviously, the KD at the other table and Shan went plus 620 with the East-West cards. Obviously, they shouldn't. And then North-South Gavin and Raj get to go plus 800. That's hence the plus 16 that I was telling you about earlier. And here it is, folks. The auction, as you can see, went two diamonds by North, solid preempt, even vulnerable. Two hearts East. No kind of leaping Michaels here, especially red white. I think they just decided to proceed with caution, and then it went double, which is penalty. And notice for all of you out there, especially you advancing players, when your partner has preempted, your doubles are basically penalty forever, right? Don't make any other agreement. It's just silly to do anything otherwise. That's a penalty double, folks. Hey, they stepped into it. They're in trouble. Pass, pass. Claude has a very nice three club. Let's dance. Let's get the heck out of there. Pass, pass. And Gavin says, well, I don't know. I have a pretty good preempt over here. My partner's doubling hearts for penalty. I think we can give this a shot. Credit to him. He went for blood on this hand. And they go plus 800 on the ace of diamonds lead. Diamond over to that 6, essentially. Descriptive play. Not that they need to be that descriptive. The count is known at this point. And now it goes spade to that king. Queen of hearts. And here we just get to untangle the spades. And then a little heart roughage, right? Knows this is happening and also knows declare can't do anything about that. And then here comes a diamond. And there's that 9 of clubs there. And that is just pretty business right there, folks. And that is a big, massive plus 16 to the Shuri team. And I don't really believe they ever look back from there. In fact, let's show you that scorecard here. Here's about where they were, right? And they stayed pretty well ahead until the withdrawal before the last set. It's usually, when it gets not mathematically. I mean, mathematically impossible is one thing, but yeah, if it gets way too far out of whack, especially against a team that's really good, it's usually what's going to happen is a gentlemanly withdrawal at the end. And that's what happened in this match. But this was the start of, a very solid look for this team for sure. And then as we talk about the insanity at two different contracts here, you see the most normal result in the field on this board. You just see, okay, let's play in two spades here. East opened one heart after North. Again, this is the second time we see Debbie Rosenberg just kind of refusing to preempt with a hand that I would say a lot of the field preempted, and you can't argue with her. Proved to be an amazing way to play and kind of go passive in this set and really do some damage, because now it went a heart. And Olivia, I'm sure, passed in tempo and without any hesitation in her room. Just, oh, okay, thank you. Pass one spade, pass two clubs, pass two spades. All pass, and that's Mexroth just saying, "Look, I smell a misfit when I smell one, and I actually have two spades, so I'm very fine getting rid of this." And what's anyone else supposed to do at this point after the actions they've chosen? So a nice passive look at this hand, and then the other room, they played three diamonds, and that was with North Garner here opening two diamonds, East overcalling two hearts once again, just kind of that normal action, double for penalty again. I should hope so. Yeah, good. Alerting it, even though you shouldn't have to. That's just normal stuff. And then West chirps in with two spades. Harrison kind of coming in saying, okay, I'll offer this up as a little saving mechanism, right? Knowing that penalty double is for reals. And then it just goes past three diamonds, and they go plus 130 on this one. So really interesting hand where we're just going plus one imp on this board, where the rest of the field is just seeing carnage happen. The least was a 5, which was 3-0 doubled in the north down 2, and then 3-0 down 3. There was a 3-0 down 4 at the bottom, but undoubled mercifully, and then an 800 in that same spot. So really lots of stuff happening on board 4 in set 1. Let's dig deeper into the round of 16, folks. Let's see some other boards. All right, I have to stay with segment 1 and board 6. And it's another interesting slam swing. And as you can see, at this point, we're looking at the McNay-Wolfson match. And this was a 38-2 at this point, and it got bigger from here. And it's another slam swing in a different way than usual, right? It's slam going down and game being fine. And right now, we're looking at Garner-Wolfson. And let me get that Traveler out of your face here. There it is. And you can see it just went a spade, 2 clubs. By North, which is, I'm assuming, game forcing for them, right? And they're looking at a good 11 count with 2 small hearts, so kind of counting everything on this hand. South bids 2 diamonds, just giving a nice description of their shape. North now bids 2 spades. South bids 3 spades, which for those of you out there that are new to 2/1 or thinking about this, this is just, hey, partner, I have some extra stuff usually, right? These partnerships have a lot of ways to show different ranges of values, but just think in general, right? The slower approach is just a better hand. And then North correctly says, hey, partner, not interested. Thank you very much. I've kind of already bid every value I have by game forcing, right? So here, the North hand is going to try to just shut things down, and the South hand is going to say, well, thank you very much, but I have a really good one. and South bids 4 no trump, and let me cycle down here. North shows 2 key cards without the Queen of Trump. And that looks like it's enough for the South player, and it might be a lot of times. Except this is one of those deals where not only do they have 2 losers if a heart gets led, but the person on lead also has the King, Queen, Jack, 6 of hearts. So it's going to be this or the Jack at every table. Jack being, or the Queen for some people, I don't know. Just the Rusinau version of this. A lot of players play lower of touching honors, but here you see Harrison leads the King of Hearts. And now before they can do anything with their heart in their hand, they basically have to lose a heart and the Ace of Diamonds, right? They could, I suppose, attempt to do some other things on this hand. In fact, no, they're just always down 1. I see. They can actually get rid of a heart on a club, but then they just get tapped out in their hand. They have 5 spades in their hand, and there are 4 spades over here, folks. So it's an interesting hand. At first glance, it looks like, hey, why is he not making this? To be fair, I had to pause for a second to take a look at this. It's my first time seeing this hand. So now we see a little bit of, oh, is he going to make it? Well, he can get rid of that heart now. Let's see what happens here, and there it comes. He gets rid of the heart, and you might think, yeah, it's over now. But what happens now, right? Especially now that he has to ruff a heart first, right? Uh-oh. And now if he draws trump, that 8 of spades is good. So he just has to play diamonds, get him to ruff. And then he has to also give up this one as well. So brutal spot right there. And that also was duplicated at another table. Here you were looking at Rosenthal-Hahn, which at this point in the match, Hahn was up 23-8. And this was Rosenthal and Silverstein just bidding 2 4 spades. And Andrew took the kind of, I would say, conservative tack here of saying, hey, I've seen Aaron play a few of these hands early. He's usually not too great early or something. I don't know. But he chose to just bid the semi-forcing one, no trump, which is just, hey, partner, I don't have enough to game force. I have like 6 to 12, and this would be, a 12 count, essentially, by the book. Two diamonds is just natural, right? He should be having 4 plus diamonds. He can pass here with like a 5-3-3-2 minimum. 3 spades is that, hey, partner, I have a limit raise with 3 card support. 4 clubs is, let's try to play some slam. And here, I mean, I don't know. With the north hand, I would consider trying to play some slam now, because I've kind of shown 6 to 12, and I have my absolute maximum. So it's hard though. How do you show interest in slam with his hand, right? You can't control bid anything, right? So you kind of just have to go, oh man, I hope it's right to bid slam and bid 4-0, or do something else, or bid 5 clubs. I don't know. Because he has 4 small diamonds, 2 small hearts. I mean, 4 spades seemed like a pretty good one on the way this auction ran out, at least as far as what he's probably thinking at this point. Now let's look at the other room. How did they get to their slam? It was 1 spade, 2 clubs, which is alerted here as 2 plus. That's kind of the expert standard way to play your 2/1 a lot these days. They use any other suit bid, like for example, a spade 2 diamonds, as 5 plus, right? A spade 2 hearts you should be playing as 5 plus anyway, but in situations like this, even without these 4 nice clubs, they would just be bidding 2 clubs anyway, showing 2 or more in game forcing values. Now, South bid 2 diamonds and North bid 2 spades, which again, we're in a game force, so we can go nice and slow. South pattern out, it looks like, and bid some 3 diamonds. 3 no trump is non-serious. So what they're discussing here is they know they're playing spades, right? So all of their conversations, further conversations, are discussions about spades, right? How high are we playing spades? We already know we're going to game. Can we go higher? 3 no trump was, hey, partner, I have a bit of a slam try, but it's non-serious. If he had, nothing more, I'm not sure what it would be in their system, but he could do something else here. Maybe just jump to 4 spades if he wanted to. But here he showed more than the worst, I would say. And then 4 no trump looks like it was just key card. North showed 2 key cards, 6 spades, and then guess what, folks? Boom, there's that heart, and there's the alternate version of what we saw before. All right, folks, let's take a look at a couple more boards from this first round of 16, and then we'll look at a sneak preview of what's coming up in the quarterfinal. Jumping to segment 3 for another big swing. Not to say that there were not a few big swings in segment 2, especially board 25 and 27 in segment 2 were pretty big ones. Go back and take a look at those if you like. Again, Lovebridge is the place you want to go. Lovebridge View Graph, you can find every single stitch of what I'm looking at right now, and all the live stuff as well. When we're not broadcasting it live, it's still live. It's still getting played, and it's still on Lovebridge. So board 1 saw a slam swing, and a good one for this time. It was, can you play 6 clubs? Can you play 3 no? And, don't play 6 diamonds, apparently. Or at least one person was in the wrong spot. And also, don't play 7 clubs. So this one saw a lot of imps get thrown around, as you can see, 11, 10, 11, 10. In fact, one table chopped action on this one. It was Goodman Bramley. They both played 4-0 for 12 tricks, and the rest, it was just throwing imps all over the place. Let's take a look at the treatment at a few different tables on this interesting board of segment 3. In fact, the first board, they came out segment 1 and segment 3, the first board just with a nice swingable spot right here. Notice here, McNay, Luba staying low. Possibly this was a strategy for the whole team here. Maybe they just stay low on this hand, but it went a spade, 2 diamonds, game forcing obviously, 2 no trump, which is either 12 to 14 or 18-19. I think that's pretty normal. And then 3 no, 4 no, 18-19. And Harrison said, no, I'm going to stay low here. I'm going to pass and just play in 4 no trump. Unfortunately, on this one, the other table and many other table just played 6 clubs on this hand, which is kind of interesting when you see this hand, folks. You see that East-West actually have a 7-card heart fit on this one. And that is kind of odd because I'm looking at, and we were looking at quite a few situations where people were just playing 6 clubs. In fact, let me plow this back up here. This is board 1 of segment 3. And here you see 6 clubs by East, making 6 clubs, 6 no trump, and then 6 clubs, and then 7 clubs. All right, so you see so many people getting to a club contract at the 6th level with a 7-card fit, right? So when 2 no trump, 3 spades was minors, both minors usually. This was Zia and Camel here. 3 no trump is okay, you have both minors. I'm not too happy with that. 4 spades is it's big, meaning I have extra values. I'm very interested in slam, and it says almost slam forcing. This is why I love the explanations on Love Bridge. This is right from the players' mouths, basically. They're typing this in. So it's big with longer diamonds, almost slam forcing. And longer diamonds, as you see, he has longer diamonds than clubs, and it's very good for slam. 4 no trump, I'm guessing, is some sort of, okay, I can play in one of your, or it could just be a sign off. And 5 no trump is just pick your slam. And he says, okay, clubs make sense with 3-2 in this suit. And I think we'll see similar action at each table that did end up playing 6 clubs. And let's see what the lead was. It was a diamond lead, which is always, the diamond suit's always a fortunate position for declare on this. So if you're playing this hand, you're getting quite lucky with the way everything's shaking out, even other than the club finesse that you're seeing you're losing. But you'll take that if they're going to break 3-3 and if the diamonds are just going to come home the way that they did. So easy 12 tricks for this pair. And then you saw the other pair, another match where you see another 6 club contract, and it was similar stuff, right? 2 no trump, 3 spades, which is a relay to 3 no. This is kind of a very normal expert standard treatment as well. 3 spades just says, please bid 3 no trump so I can tell you what I have. This shows short spades in both minors. And then he says 5 clubs, 6 clubs. You see, you can see the problem dealing with minor suits after 2 no openers, right? Sometimes you're going to play in these weird hands that, you've opened this kind of very balanced hand here, but your 3-2 minors, and partner just has this misfitting hand in minors, right? So fortunate for all of the people that did find 6 clubs. Unfortunate for the people that stayed low. They can't really be loving that they're losing out to a 4-3 club slam. And the people that played diamonds clearly have a problem here, because even though that queen of diamonds looks like it might be friendly for diamonds, that 9/5 of diamonds is not quite friendly. so and you also saw some people get to 7 clubs. In fact, let's take a look at one of those auctions. Not surprisingly, another 2 no opener, right? 2 no trump, 3 spades, clubs are both minors. 3 no trump, not four, let's see, 4 clubs in good hand for slam. Okay, so 5 no trump is pick a slam, 6 clubs, and then 6 no, and then okay, let's go. So the young guns here, Kaplan and Kolesnik, taking no prisoners, getting to 7 clubs, and it's on a few things, but the club finesse losing is obviously, that's not going to get you there. And unfortunately for this team, the other side was in 6 no trump, just making 6, right? So big swing in this match. This was, in fact, the closest match of the round of 16. At this point, Wildowski was up. In fact, Wildowski, I think we can get back to the scoreboard here. Wildowski had this nice run of, okay, we're up. And then, boom, right here. The 6th, 7th, and then the 8th segments, right? They were down 1, tied, really close, and then boom, kicking away at the end is Kaplan. So what a match, and really well played. Not too shocking, actually. It's funny. This was like the basketball this year. The top teams in this round all kind of stepped forward, and this was the closest match, as it should be, with the 8-9 seed going at each other. So well played on both sides, and really proved to be an exciting match for that round of 16. Let's take a look at a double downswing here at a few different tables here. This was another very, very competitive board as far as imps flying around. You can see 13, 12, 12, 8, 4, 11, and then a couple of just, okay, we escaped with our lives, or nothing great was happening for either team. Well, let's take a look at a few of the tables here. And this was another preemptive hand, not surprisingly, right? This is where the imps are going to fly, because people can be, more preemptive than others, and or get into a little more trouble than others. And let's see a couple of versions of that here. And again, this was segment 5, board 4. So second day, very early on in that second day of the round of 16. So here we're looking at Parrish and Fleischer. And again, Fleischer out to a very solid lead, which is what you would expect. This is the team that represented the U.S. in the World Championships in Argentina, and they're looking to put their stamp on USA1. Again, lots of bridge left to play, but not surprising that this team would have a reasonable lead at this point. But here we see that West starts with 2 spades. Again, very garden variety, awesome preempt. North has a very, very nice hand, and notice priority there is to bid your 5-card major. I would tell my students the same thing here. 4 spades by East. There is Herdman, and that's kind of a two-way bid, really. I don't think you would be too shocked if you make 4 spades sometimes with this hand, and you end up having pretty reasonable defense, and I think he shows this later in this hand. And take a look, folks. It now goes double by Adam, which is looks like for him, he's like, okay, let's play some 4 spades. King, queen, jack, 4 with the spades is really good ones. And then it goes past 4-0. Can't blame Anand with this hand. You have 3 places to play. So now it goes double by East, which is Herd's way of saying, okay, I have a pretty good hand here. And I'm willing to probably rip some things. And it goes 5 hearts, double by Kevin with that ace of diamonds here. Looking like they want to play for penalty and getting a penalty result here. 5 hearts not going to make on this. Even on this sort of play here, it goes ace of spades. And they get a little rough of that right there. Not surprising, but the heart position is pretty brutal for Declare here. And they always are going to get at least this much. And in fact, I think they may have, did they have a chance to get more with a club through at this point? Yeah, KB, what's up? So here, Kevin can do a little bit better by just leading a club through the king jack to the ace queen. And you see, you know, this is just a spot where getting 1 extra trick could prove to get a little bit better of a spot for you. But here you can't be perfect. And this is still a pretty darn good score, especially considering in the other room, let me get rid of this chicken scratch for you, they played 4 spades east-west and actually got doubled and went down in their position. So during this match, you had a double downswing, right? You had 200 going to, pardon me. 4 spades went down, and it was 200 for the north-south guys, but yeah, it was a double downswing for the Fleischer team, excuse me. Again, if I can actually speak once in a while, it would be lovely, guys. Long day. But I still have some good bridge to bring you right here, guys. Let's look at another board here. And I want to jump to the last segment, or excuse me, not the last segment, the 7-6, board 19. Let's take a look at that one. This board had some fireworks at more than one table, but this was the biggest firework I saw, at least. Actually, there was a bigger swing in the Fleischer-Paris match, a 15-imp swing. But take a look at this board: 14, 15, 13, 12, 15. Goodman, Bramley proving to be the team that decided to play the most kind of equal, right? They didn't have huge swings on a lot of the boards that the other teams did. And then at the very bottom, surprisingly, Kaplan, Wildowski, only 3 on this. And this is the match we're going to take a look at in a second. But let's take a peek at the redoubled score you can see there at the very top in the Nicol Baseggio match. Here was that action. It went 3 clubs by the South player. You can see how aggressive a preempt can be when you're non-vulnerable. Now that is hyper aggressive, but it is a hand that has a heart void. They're white red, so they're in there with 3 clubs, and it goes 3 clubs double. Cannot blame the West player, especially here knowing white red. You would be very aggressive even if you didn't have this hand. And then pass by North saying, oh, this is interesting, we're gonna have some fun on this hand. 4 hearts by East, pass double, pass, redouble, or excuse me, sorry, snap redouble here. I don't know how fast it was at the table, but they redoubled, saying, okay, I think I rate to do pretty well here when my partner makes a takeout double and I have this hand. Obviously, you can smell that you're getting a bad break, I suppose, but they said even in that case, I feel like I'm doing pretty well. They just didn't realize how weak this hand was, right? This hand rated to have something, and it didn't really have anything except it had an important card to lead to partner, maybe. so here, redoubled. It led to down 1, which was 400 for the north-south pair here. So 4 hearts was redoubled in the East player, and it was down 1. But at the other table, you had the other swing, 3-no trump by East, just making, right? And it was a diamond, and North got to overcall a heart, right? So look at the difference in auctions. right? Three clubs by South, double, and North just says, okay, I don't have to bid, right? And here, the more normal action, pass, one diamond, one heart, three no trump. And you can't blame Weinstein for not bidding this, not opening three clubs with this hand, right? But you can see some players that took that risk may have been paid off for it, but also it's a lot of risk to be taking. And here you can see three no trump, much more friendly for the East West players than four hearts would be for sure. Let's take a look at the closest match and see how they acted on this hand. And notice here, Ron Smith, a classic old school player, passing with the south hand, one club, one heart by North. Once they get to see this one heart bid, this three heart bid is interesting. It transferred to three no. It said, okay, I think it would be better played from your side, so why don't you bid three no trump? And that is their agreement with that bid there. And let's take a look at the other side here. You just have another pass, one diamond, double by North, redouble here, just showing, oh, look, so that just shows hearts. And now that's trouble for north south, or excuse me, east west. Two clubs by East, two hearts, pass, four hearts, pass, pass. There's the hammer, right? Ace 10, 9, 8, fifth. I feel good. And this was a pickup for this team for sure. In fact, it was not a huge one compared to the other tables. Just three, right, for this nice kind of doubled contract, but it was chopping action with three no trump down one. So it was just a 3-imp swing as opposed to the other people that play this board. Wow. Double digits everywhere except for a 3 no trump choppage in the Bailey Kovacek match right there. All right, so wow, really interesting stuff. And the insanity continued into the late night hours. And after 8 segments, we saw this final score. Two matches, the Shuri Jacobs match and the Nickel Biseggio match. They did not play an 8th set, but every other match did play an 8th set. And the Kaplan team ended up kind of getting out to an early lead in that 8th set and holding strong for those final boards. As you can see, the other favorites just doing their business, taking care of it, and moving on to the quarterfinal. In fact, if you hold with me for just a second, let's take a look at what's going on with the live scores in the quarterfinal right now. Get a little sneak preview of our live action tomorrow night. And there it is, folks. That's actually a live score as I'm recording this, which is Saturday evening. I recorded some of this earlier, to be fair, but I'm jumping in to kind of take a look and see the live action. And here's our quarterfinal lineup for USA1. You have Nickel just with a slight lead of only 5 imps on this one, but again, very, very early stuff here in Schaumburg. And you see Fleischer out to a very big lead. They had a couple of big sets. In fact, they started with 47, 51, 33. They are really steaming. And to be honest, this was last year, the trials. Fleischer had a tougher match toward the end, but man, that was a real grind. Real good run through for them. So they do well in this event. So they'll be a team to watch. Look at that Shuri Rosenthal match, getting closer by the second, 105-100. In fact, let's jump in and take a look at that one. And this is a tough one for me and a tough one to watch because lots of good friends on these two teams. You have Zach Grossack, Michael Rosenberg sitting north-south, and that is for the Rosenthal team. And then you have Vince DeMay, John Kraniak sitting east-west. That's for the Shuri team. And at the other table, you have Kevin Dwyer Rimstead with Shan Huang, and that's for the Shuri team. And then Walenkin Ginosar for the Rosenthal team. Both these captains, really good guys and really great teams going at it here. And you see 105-100 after a lot of boards today. In fact, this is the 52nd board of the day that we're looking at. Let's see what's going on. Vince sitting west opens a spade. Look at that hand that Kraniak's looking at. My goodness. I'll take that action. He bids 2 clubs, which is a Lairded, and the Laird is just 2+, right? That's that typical, okay, partner, I have a hand that is game forcing and has at least 2 clubs. And the reason you do it this way, folks, is just so that when you need to, you can bid naturally with your other suits, right? So here, if you have diamonds, you can bid 2 diamonds, and that would show 5+ cards. Oh, let me get that camera back over here for you. Oh, there I am. Hey, guys. Apologies for that, folks. Let's sit here for a few minutes, though. Let's see what happens on this hand, especially. This is a nice highlight. I literally just dropped in just to see what this looks like. We're going to do this sort of thing tomorrow night, Sunday night, when we're taping for the end of the quarterfinals. We're going to kind of behind the scenes be calling the match live, and we'll release that to you as well. So you see content coming out of you are coming out of here quite frequently during the trials. So let's see. 2 diamonds was just diamonds. 3 hearts, short spades, diamond fit. That's pretty useful, right? Hey, partner, I have short spades and a diamond fit. Look at Vince's hand over here. Oh, short spades and a diamond fit. Where are we going? 3 spades is probably some sort of control bid. 4 hearts, pretty common that is key card for diamonds, right? That's 1 over key card. Lets them get their responses at lower levels below that 4-no trump level that we're mostly used to. And we'll see what Vince's response is. I would guess that many of the other players are, in fact, having this sort of auction. But I tell you what, I'm going to go looking. Let's see where we're at here. This is board. Okay, good. 1 pair has bid 7 diamonds, Grossack and Wold. That's Adam Grossack, the brother of Zach here. So 4 spades was the response. 5 diamonds is not sure. We'll find out. I would guess it's forward going looking at both of these hands, right? Let's see what they can do with these. And the north-south pair here are pretty much at the mercy of the east-west players in these situations, right? How high are you going to bid, and how badly are we going to lose this board if our partners don't do the same? So we'll keep an eye on this auction, and I will report results at other tables. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. Let's see what some of these other people are doing. Another 7 diamond bid. That's Zia and Mike Camel bid the 7 diamonds on this hand. Let's see what happened in the Fleischer match. Looks like Kevin Bathurst and John Hurd are on their way to. They've shown extra values with diamonds in the east hand after West showed spades and diamonds. So it looks like we're doing a lot of the same business on this hand at other tables. But let's see where we can end up. And again, this is on a 30-minute delay, folks. So if you want to see all the action and you want to see it live as it's happening or really on this 30-minute delay, go to Lovebridge View Graph and or just viewgraph.lovebridge.com. It'll send you right to the front page there and just look for USA team trials, USA1. There'll be some USA2 there as well. And you're seeing live action essentially as the players are putting in their bids. They're going to give you exactly what their description that they're giving to their opponents will be. So you get all the information that they get at the table, and you get to see what they're playing essentially live on a 30-minute delay just for the security of it all. Okay, they're going to ship in, let's see. The question is, did they confirm that they have all the key cards in the queen? I don't think they did, so it looks like they're going to end in 6 diamonds. Let's see what's going on at the other table. Whoa, they had a misstep here. South opened 1 spade. It went 2 spades. 2 no trump, asking for the minors constructive. 3 hearts, good with clubs. Oh, you know why? I know why. That's not the same board. I'm like, wow, what are they doing at 5 clubs? Yeah, that did not look quite the same. So I see why. They're on a board before, guys. Apologies about that. All right, so you see this pair gets the 6 diamonds, and I can tell you that Hurd and Bathurst ended up getting the 7 diamonds on that hand. So interesting spots at different tables. In fact, they get all the way to 7 diamonds, and guess what they're playing for? An average, because they did the same thing at the other table. That's the USBF championships, folks. There it is. 7 diamonds, 2140 in the other room, and you bid your whole way to 7 diamonds, and you just get a nice average result. And that's Fleischer Bailey for you. Fleischer, again, off to a really big lead, and here Bailey just needs to bid 7 diamonds just to stay on par. So well done by both teams here to get to the Grand Slam. That is, looks like pretty cold here, as they, or pretty burr as they might say. I just stumbled across this auction, folks. Interesting treatment by Kevin Rosenberg here. This went a diamond by East, which is kind of their nebulous opening bid, it looks like. It went double by South, which is, just probably from Kevin's perspective, he knows that's a good hand, but just from Joe's, that's just a normal takeout double. So he sticks in this one spade bid, which in their system is a transfer to no trump, and that's a little bit of a psych in this situation, or at least it looks like it, right? It's just okay. Hey partner, I have just some sort of values, and I want you to bid no trump. However, take a look. Joe just jumps to 3 clubs, showing a good hand in clubs. And then partner bids 3 diamonds, and Joe just says, okay, well, I can probably help out in hearts, and 3 no trump becomes the place to be on this one. And it looks like I can't tell what is happening in the other room. I guess this table is a little bit ahead of the other room, but it looks like they're trending towards what should be a pretty good result here. They're going to take 4 more clubs, 2 hearts, and couple diamonds. Maybe he leads a spade towards that king at some point. He has a lot of tricks he could take. Interesting stuff here, and that's just a lot of high level thought here. You wouldn't think you would want to act with a 0 count, right? But Kevin in there with a bid that may have kind of caused havoc in other situations, but Gru Moss especially. This experienced partnership is just going to kind of bid their hands normally and trust themselves and not necessarily their opponents. All right. Well, that is a live look in, folks, and you can do that. You can do exactly what I just did anytime you want, and that'll be at viewgraph.lovebridge.com. Stay tuned to the USBF YouTube channel, and the live feeds will go out live on the YouTube Twitch channel, and I think I'll throw it live on my YouTube channel as well, just so we can get as many eyes on it as possible. So thank you so much for taking a look and seeing what's going on in the trial so far. Stick with us, folks. We had a bunch of content coming out in these updates. We'll have more people involved in these updates as well, and especially we'll have that great lineup for our live sessions, which you'll see on the days that we have the finals of the final day of the finals of the event. So USA1 final day, USA2 final day, and so on and so forth, until the end of the trials. Thanks a lot, folks, and I'll see you soon. Take care.